All right, so good morning if you're joining us right now. Many thanks to you for joining, and we're up on our next segment, which is the relationship talk. And this morning we're looking at the role of the church in marriages. In the studio with me to help me with the conversation, I have Madam Mama Bibia. She's everything in one. Mama Ajwa Inshra and Mama Rahima is here with me this morning. She's a relationship expert, and she's been doing this for a long time, and she's here to bless us this morning with her knowledge in the issue that we're talking about. Reverend Daniel Annan is also here. He's a counselor, and Reverend's always been at home. He's always here, and when he's here, he's home. Just that this morning he feels a bit ambushed, which of course we're going to get to that. We've had some conversation behind the scenes before getting it live on there, but we look at it. But please, thank you so much for honoring my invitation. Thank you so much, Rev.
Thank you.
I hope you're fine.
I'm good. I'm good.
You're not worried?
Oh no.
About what has happened before we
The lion always roars.
Oh really? And the lion will not roar without a prey.
Mommy, thank you so much for the time.
Most
we appreciate
welcome.
you also here on the show. But it's a big deal when you find a church, and I mean most marriages, except a few that want to do it maybe in the court or wherever they choose to do, maybe at places where they have to even take the pastor out of the church room to that place to have the wedding. And most marriages actually begin from the church. I mean, apart from all the counseling and the other things that they go through. But the church has always been the foundation. Do you agree to this or you disagree?
First of all, let me say a very good morning to your viewers and a good morning to Reverend Daniel Annan.
We've been good friends.
You started fighting.
It's rather unfortunate. We are saying that the marriage starts from the church. But there's a wrong foundation. Even the Bible says when the foundation is destroyed, what will the righteous do? So if the foundations of marriage are destroyed, it makes the people who are getting married suffer.
Yeah.
Church has no role in marriage.
Wow.
If they come in, what they are supposed to do as a church and as a religious body, they have put it aside and they are focusing on what is not supposed to be their role. Church is doing the arrangement. Church is doing the counseling. Church is fixing dates. Church is even offering parents to be married couple.
Yeah.
And which is not. And you see, we shouldn't even encourage it. Where we are getting to, a lot of marriages are just getting on the rocks because the foundations are wrong. For instance, if my son wants to marry, ideally, I as a parent, I'm supposed to be in charge. I'm supposed to take charge. Whatever they are supposed to present to the girl's family should not be my daughter-in-law buying them. I as a parent, I should be in the center of that arrangement. But what do you see today? Churches are telling people their parents are witches and they don't even want to involve their parents in their marriage. They go to church, church agrees on dates and they give the dates to their parents. It is wrong. As a church, the only thing you're supposed to do after the parents' consent is just pray to support them. It is a place,
and not be at the center stage of everything.
It is a place of spiritual revival. We are there to grow our spirit, our spiritual life. They are not there to fix marriages. So churches should stand aside and allow the family to take their role, which is the center role in marriages, so that marriages will thrive. Have you ever heard that there's a marriage that they are dissolving? If there's a divorce, do they even ask for the pastor?
No.
Do pastors come in? You take that, if it's a traditional marriage, you take the drink to the man's parents or the lady's parents. Do they ever take any drink to church? No. So where comes the church? I'm a traditionalist and I believe in tradition. In as much as I believe in spirituality, I go to church to grow my spiritual life. My marriage has nothing to do with the church. If I have an issue when it comes to marriage, I'm supposed to handle it with my family. I come to church for prayer. People respect their pastors more than their husbands. The church has become, I don't know what the church has become today. A man wants to sleep with a wife. is yearning for sex, then your wife will tell you that, we have prayer meetings, so let me go and come. Like seriously?
Rev.
Yes, sir.
Where we started from, even me, I don't know what to say about.
No sweat. No sweat.
But I don't know if you disagree, but if you disagree, on what grounds?
I disagree. I totally disagree. Anyway, good morning to your cherry.
I know you disagree. But
Why? Because you see, let us not generalize the excesses of people. The excesses of people should not be the generalization or should not be the yardstick. What is the church? The church is there to nurture, mentor, and possibly act as a legal background in some cases where it is marriage by ordinance.
The church plays a role in that.
Plays a role because they signed us with the Registrar General entrust that responsibility to some churches where they have been gazetted.
Okay.
Now, here's the issue. I know that our marriages go through issues, traditional, then ordinances. If we don't define the church well, then we begin to have problems. I look at church, for instance, there is no lecture theater that offers lecturing more than a church. Supposing you go to church and spend maybe 2 hours in the church in 52 weeks, how many lecture hours do you have?
That's a lot of margin.
Thank you. So I look at church as a place that will develop the mind, we develop the heart, that we develop the skills. So in my church, this is the scope. I develop people to think. I develop people to form character, and I develop people to have skills so that they become productive. So in that church, we are talking about parenting. It's not boys who marry, it's men. How do we transform that boy to be a man? How do we transform that girl to be a woman? That's where the church comes in, where the church will give that person that teaching from Sunday school, wherever. We all have our own responsibilities. Even when we have to talk about parenting, who is a good parent? How do you define a good parent? So is it that because somebody has given birth to a child that he becomes a parent? No. It's about the content that you possess. That will determine what you give. So from the Bible, I teach people to become responsible people. Responsible in your character, responsible in your discipline, responsible in your nature, about the characters that you need to get into the marriage sphere.
And the church does better than the parents?
I'm saying that I have a role.
Okay.
Even the parents, what do they know? How many people? You see, let us not think that people are grown, so they are matured. It's an assumption. There is nothing. The wisdom of Solomon has nothing to do with the age of Methuselah. Methuselah was 969 years, but he did nothing. He gave birth and performed nothing. Now, if you are talking about parenting, if somebody is a good parent, what makes him a good parent?
Is it the church?
No. I'm talking from what I teach.
And she's asking if the church defines that.
Yes. For instance,
So
the Bible tells me how to grow people to become responsible parents. I am coming from the context of the Bible. I'm not coming from the context of tradition.
But
the Bible teaches me
in the scriptures
where
that
parents,
they have written
teach
that
a child the way he should grow.
But
So when he grows, he does not depart from it.
Very good, but it doesn't teach parenting.
No, what I'm trying. There are
It's about teaching the child,
The child,
training the
but
child.
not the
parenting
parent.
is there.
So are we saying
Parenting
that
is there.
when there were no churches, were they not good parents?
No, I'm saying
Parenting in itself, somebody comes to church and the person in the church looks like the person is an angel. But meanwhile, we have corrupt people in the church.
No, we are not coming to that. We are talking about the church, what the church offers. So whether somebody takes it or not is another matter. For instance, if I am teaching somebody, to grow you to be a man, 1, to get into marriage, I will teach you to be responsible. 2, I will teach you to be a leader. 3, I will teach you to be an innovator, somebody who can add a value to the woman. 4, I will teach you to be somebody who people find themselves secure with you. 5, I'll teach you to somebody who always cares, who knows how to love, not the love between couples. I teach you agape love, the love that can even forgive somebody. I teach you that. The 16th, I will teach you when you have children, how do you help? 7, I'll teach you what brand, what are you bringing out, that your marriage will be honorable, that people look at you and begin to say, oh, this is good thing. I want to get into marriage. That is my responsibility. So when I'm growing people in the church, I teach them the 7 things to be a man. And if you're a woman, I teach you the 7 things to be a woman.
So
it takes women. No, it's not. It was not girls and boys who got married. Men and women. So we need to the transition between boyhood and manhood. That's where the church or the pastor comes in. It depends on the church that you went. If the church that you went did not offer that content, I'm sorry.
But in general, I mean, in general, from where you stand.
I can talk
from where you stand.
Instance,
I know you're talking for yourself.
Let me just give you an example.
Okay.
When you go to Catholic church, there's catechism.
Yeah.
When you go to Methodist church, there's grooming into teens.
But who brings the child to that point
where the church takes over and say, okay, this is where I want to be?
They say charity begins at home.
Whatever, no problem. I don't have a problem with it. I am talking about when some people come to the church, what my responsibility is.
But
even before they get into marriage.
I don't assume. I don't work on assumption. I don't assume that because you're a parent, you know. No. In the context of the Bible, what do I have to do?
So you're playing your role.
But
it shouldn't be in marriages, because what we are saying.
So you think that the role of the church,
nurturing is there. I talked about the role of the church is to nurture people. I'm not saying take full control of a person.
No.
You can say your own from a traditional point, but I'm saying as a church, I nurture people. 2, I mentor people. So these are my responsibilities. And I told you the 3 things I do. I train people in the mind. I train people in the heart, in the mind, to develop wisdom, make decisions, to think right, heart, to build character, because you take character to marry. And all the virtues of character, it's in the Bible.
And all these things the parents can teach them?
I don't know whether the parents that you have, they are absentee parents or present parents. I don't know.
But
no, I don't assume. I'm talking about, it's like I have a curriculum that I have to offer.
What curriculum is in the Bible that is used to teach children? Yeah. Listen, when I have my child, I live with the child. I carry that child.
Yeah.
I nurture that child. When my child is lazy, I know. If my child is hardworking, I know. If my child likes food, I know. Because I live with the child. So I should play that role of nurturing my child.
And not the church.
And not the church. Because people go to church and they think everything the church is giving them is the best.
Because it's based on the Bible.
Because they pick some, not all the scriptures. Because when you check through the scriptures, even there are different types of marriages in the scriptures. There were people who got pregnant without husbands. There were people who were properly married. There were people who just, we didn't even know their fathers. And all those people are in the Bible. But we pick what we think is okay for what we believe. And that is what we base on. So you get to the church and people are married. There was a church that I attended and it was a Valentine's Day. And you know how these churches take center stages in marriage. And the pastor called all the couples, to the front and said, look into your wife's face and tell and wish her a happy Valentine's Day. Tell her how you love her. And you could see this presiding elder with the wife standing whilst they were talking. You know, the man couldn't even look into the wife's face. The wife was not ready to look into the husband's face. It is in the church. Look, the marriages that are getting on rocks are in the church because the foundation is destroyed. Which pastor would be bold enough to look you in the face, because the pastor doesn't even know you? But if I have a son, and I know my son is very lazy, right?
Yeah.
So when my son tells me that, Auntie, Mommy, I've met this woman, the first thing is, gentleman, I know you are lazy. You want to marry. Are you ready to support your wife? So when my daughter-in-law comes to me, I'll tell her in plain words that, listen, This is my son. He's a very lazy person. He doesn't like eating food that is left over. Or maybe you cook today and he eats and you eat it tomorrow. So because he's my son and I know him, I will sit him down and tell him that, listen to me, marriage is not like you think. Every day you want to eat something fresh, but you're getting married, and this time around, sometimes you might not have money. So start reasoning. It is my son.
But you are doing it.
But
others
are not doing
another
it.
Case.
But what we are saying is, parenting is not about me giving birth. You know, parenting was, we believe in the extended family, right? And everybody could advise you. When you are getting married, people call you. It is not one person that advises you. We have a few family members, elderly, matured family members advising you. Assuming the pastor who is going to do the counseling loves fat women, the ex-women. And I am a guy who has seen a slim woman that I want to marry. What is the pastor telling me? Is the pastor's marriage the same marriage that I'm going to experience? No. I have my own line that I'm going to toe, and the pastor has his own line. But we have left that. We don't even have time to pray and see how spiritually the couple bond. What are we seeing now? When there are a lot of weddings in church, everybody wants to go there. You get to the church and people are not their real self. They get to church and they have different characters. If their characters, the pastors know them well, like their parents, I don't think a pastor would marry a praise and worship leader and start having challenges in his marriage.
Rev,
it's very simple. It's very simple because people ought to be responsible for what decisions and choices they make. Life is about relevance. It's about the decisions and the choices you make.
Is the church helping in that?
Perfectly.
So why?
For instance, wait. Your child. Now you are talking about the society that we live in. Now, modern society that we have. We don't live in the village.
We don't live in the village, but the pastors are making everybody look like a witch.
Please wait.
So how will we even want to advise somebody?
Have I even mentioned witchcraft? I'm talking.
It is part of the doctrine they are teaching.
I'm not. Have I mentioned witchcraft today? No. I'm talking about relevance. When a child goes to school, he spends how many hours in the school? Have you thought about that? He spends not less than 10 hours in the school out of the 24 hours in a day. What is that child receiving from that school? And what will be the formation of the mind of that child? So we are talking about impact, time and impact and relevance we make in people's life. So when you change, when you wake up, for instance, if you're a corporate person, you get up early, 6 o'clock, you're on the way, you send your child to school. And your child will stay in the school, 4 o'clock, you pick the child, you get to home 6 o'clock, you cook, eat, the place you sleep, the child gets up. Who does this? Who spend the quality time with the child? It's the teacher. When that child comes to church, he comes to church to a Sunday school, which is structured in teaching morals. So when
parents don't teach morals.
Please, I'm talking about my role. I'm not talking about your role.
No, your role. So if it's your generally,
you're doing too much of your role.
Maybe you are doing your role.
Unless you tell me, don't be a pastor. If you can tell me, don't be a pastor, then I'm okay.
They have left their families.
No, you see, that's why I'm saying, let us not get into the excesses and generalize the excesses to be the prime thing. We are talking about content delivery.
Rev, give me a minute. Let me engage our viewers. You can send us your messages. You can also call us and share your thought with us here on the show. Let us know what you think. We're looking at the church, their role in marriages and what they've been able to do so far. You think that the church is doing too much when it comes to marriages. Parents are supposed to be allowed to take their own children into their own hands and say that this is for us, this is what the church, this is your limit. You can do as far as this or that. You can share that with us now.
Enough to tell you don't bring your marriage to the church.
On social media says this early morning black people are saying the country hot.
The country there be hot.
And okay, what do Musa says, I totally agree with Madame because the moral societies are overstepping their roles. He thinks that the too much moral people are overstepping their rules. Now let's get on the phone lines and see if we have someone there. Hello, Philip.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Philip. How are you?
My name is Steven.
Oh, okay. Felix, please go ahead.
All right. I'm very much interested in these very conversations you are having, and thanks for having such a conversation this morning. I think one of the things that we need to understand about marriage is that marriage is not a man idea. Marriage is not a man institution. Marriage is God's idea. That is the first thing that we have to bear in mind. It is not a human institution. It is God's institution. And so God gave regulations. He gave rules as to how marriages have to be governed. You can't just run marriage from the perspective of human beings. Yes, it is human that are entering into it, but it is a God that instituted it. So, for instance, let's take, for instance, Joy FM or multimedia. Multimedia, it is a human being that instituted it, but there are regulations that are governing it. So the rules is what you have to follow. So God instituted the marriage and he set rules for them. And the rules he set in it are for Christians and for people who believe in God. This is why the Reverend is trying to, Anna is trying to make us to understand. So, for instance, if you are able to follow the rules of marriage, then your marriage will be successful. Now, I want to make a point about a pastor trying to choose. Pastors do not choose people for entering into marriage. Pastors do not choose. But what it does is that they guide, like the Holy Spirit does. He guides. The pastors counsel. And it is very important that we follow the rules and regulations of the institution that God instituted.
Okay. All right. Many thanks for joining us. Our next caller, let's get to it. Captain. Hello, Captain. Oh, we lost Captain over there. You can also join us and share your thought with us. Let me get back to the studio, Rev.
So it's very simple. When people know what they ought to do, it's like, that's why I said I've talked about nurturing and mentoring, and I've talked about maturing to thinking, maturing to character, and maturing to skill. Now, when somebody is getting into marriage, never think that somebody married for you. Even God did not marry Eve for Adam. Never. Adam took the decision to call Eve my wife. Very careful. People should be very, very careful about that. It was his decision. God said, I'll create a helpmeet, not a wife. You took a decision that the helpmeet should be your wife. So what are we saying? How do we help people to take right decisions?
But is the church putting emphasis on this? That you are doing this solely on your own? And we are only here to play a certain role. And not to make it look like, well, this is the perfect match for you because you've gone through counseling. Me as a reverend and as a pastor, I have counseled you people and I believe you are matched.
And sometimes
is that what we're saying?
See, that's why I'm saying it depends on where you went.
People come.
That's what I'm saying. Let's not generalize.
I'll come back to you. We'll get that. Let me get to Philip. Philip, can you hear me? Oh, we lost Philip over there as well. So let's do it one after the other. Let me come to you.
The issue is nobody chooses for you. But after choosing, when somebody proposes to a lady, the first thing is, I want to go and show to my pastor.
There's been cases like that.
There are a lot of cases.
Thank you.
Rev, you agree with that.
There have been so many cases.
The question is,
church people.
Question is that why didn't that child trust the parents?
Because the church is making it look like they are the all in all.
No, you see.
Look, let me tell you.
Who forces you to do what you do?
No. It's because of the doctrine.
No!
So right from the onset, the person is made to believe that if you have a wife you want to marry, bring to the church.
Bring to the church.
It's also.
But when you meet a man or a woman, the first point of call are your parents.
Okay, give me a moment. Habib.
How many churches do background checks?
Habib. Hello.
Hello.
Habib, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, good morning.
Please go ahead.
I think sometimes in the marriage, in the church, sometimes the pastors are not always being sincere. To be like, let me say, they will not tell them the truth. In a marriage.
They won't tell them what truth?
In a marriage, when like there is, you are coming into a marriage, I think it is the mothers that will tell them, or the parents that will tell them the truth about marriage. But when it gets to the pastors, in a way there is a marriage in the challenges and they bring it to the pastors. The truth is always there, but they put it in the form of like a play or something like hidden secret ways. Will not tell the people the truth that, hey, boys or girls, be careful. These are challenges. You are individuals coming together to meet each and every one. So once we have come together, the truth is everybody have to be agreed to submit what he or she wants. No one forces you into a marriage. You accepted it. Moral is also there, and the religious life is also there. But at least, ladies should know that I'm not going there. That is my rule. He is not going there. That is his rule. That is where marriage will be perfect. If not, any of you accepted such a thing, then marriage has nothing to do. That is what I have to add there to. Thank you.
Okay, many thanks for joining us in the conversation. We appreciate you. Yeah.
Let me even ask you a question. When you found somebody, are you married?
Not yet.
Okay. Do you know that even sometimes the person that you want to marry, your friend will know the person even more than your mother?
My friend.
Yes, it could be.
If they are best friends or...
Yes, thank you. So...
But my mom
will know me better too.
They know your weakness, they know your strength.
Did you hear what I said? You did not listen.
You said your friend knows you
better.
Than
the person that you are getting married to. Quite often is the friends even who introduce people. Now, before even you get to know, you are talking about people.
Is that a justification of the church role in terms of the analogy you're given?
You see, the church...
Based on that, the church also have a role in making sure.
The church's role is that because they also make decisions for people. It is your decision and your choice.
Okay.
But what we do is that we help you to know whether the decision that you have taken, whether
is a good one or not.
Because are you led by lust or what?
Okay. Whether lust
Elizabeth.
or what, it is my parents. It's the role of my parents.
They have to tell you what.
Exactly.
Elizabeth. Oh,
you know, it is your parents that can tell you that, listen, you're treading cautiously.
The parent, if he doesn't know, if the parent doesn't know that much enough,
it is not only
will you be able to tell the person?
It is not your mother and father alone who are your parents.
Okay, let me talk to Frank. Frank.
Hello.
Yeah, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Please go ahead.
Please, can I express myself in my native language?
Yes. Go ahead.
Okay. My son, can you say? They say, I saw the number, our rear, a burden at our society. I saw the Najibia boss. Ever since all the young countries, ever since I saw the Jawari boss on our need. Imagine so, what is of to for to say a wedding. Why the wedding? Even the
your personal experience and what is someone for?
In my church, the one your ordinance. Won't mean a leader in the church, won't mean a software. I saw it. I'm not say you were in to, but why you were there to me, leader or
seriously.
Wow.
Jesus was appointing people. Did you do it based on marriage?
Bible have a wedding war. Bible have a wedding war. Our rich in a bushian temp. Our rebate in a bushian, but I saw not hijack our reno. And I'm a man for a bread. If you was a warrior, Komuna 1, 2, 3. Is that what we bring in? Bura wedding, wedding in a car. A kakaka, the whole wedding in a kakaka, the whole Nippon Niscano Bobo sent to go with you what the kind of wedding. At the Berman in here, I get it. At the was enough for who Berman anymore wedding and Berman in my ear. Or what much you make up of you. It's Master can say, I do purpose. I was a sort of Jawa in Mabushia because I really get a Bushian, even a two blah conflict about conflict resolution. I wish I had the best people with my solve woman problem. A Janet, and then or fat be what can I say? Almost solve problem. I had the best solution. They want to solve for Nadia Tuna or my Jabomuso. I Bermano or Obama be a Bema Conasser or Basso Conasser or move about the soft or Busuba or Bansu move Bema soft. It has some intiminka. And now, Banana or better it is an and Yashi Bible say in Yawaria and Yashi Bible see in Yawaria. Better to know or moving Guawaria. Better warrior Tanao.
Okay, fine. Yeah, yes, that's it.
So when you see when people want to hold leadership positions in the church, The reason why we encourage people to go by marriage by ordinance is because when you marry under the customary law, you can marry as many as you can. The churches believe in one man, one wife.
It is not the church believe. It is Paul who made that statement.
You see?
It is Paul.
It's you.
So are we following
no,
Paul?
It's not Paul.
Or we are
Christ
following
said in
Christ?
Matthew chapter 19, a man shall have his own wife. It's there. It's Adam and Eve. Christ also.
So that decision is based on stopping the man from getting married to one-on-one.
But you see, if it's by ordinance, then we know that you have a regulation that guides you not to step outside and begin to have
who
a
has
lot of women.
appointed the church
to begin
as the
you chose to come to the church,
or the
who chose to come to the did we force you? You came
on marriage.
You see, for instance, Catholic Church. It says, okay, if you want to come to Catholic Church, if you don't come to my catechism, if you don't say prayers in Mary, I will give you my Lord's Supper. You decided to come.
Do you know how many people who are in the Catholic Church who don't even go for confession?
You see, the issue is that
irrelevant. Who am I confessing my sins to, God or man?
You see, the issue is you made a choice and a decision that this is where I want to go. And the church is guided by principles. The church is guided by governance, so that the church is structured. So when you come, the structure is not at variance with the scriptures. We do things by the scriptures. If you choose to come to church, it's like when you work in multimedia, the issue is that you conform to the structure of multimedia. Is that not it?
Yeah.
So if you decide to come to the church, which is the body of Christ, we are governed by the scriptures and what the scripture tells us, what a man should do, what a woman should do.
Why are the even pastors' marriages are failing?
No, it's about if the pastor's marriage is failing. It's his marriage.
They have the doctrine.
It's not about God.
They have the doctrine.
No,
so if it's not
The
about
pastors
God,
are playing the role of God in
They are not
ensuring
playing the way of God. They are not playing God.
But the role of God in ensuring that.
No, they are not playing the role of God. Nobody can play the role of God.
They are ensuring other people's marriages.
You see, we are all
succeed,
accountable.
but their marriages are
to
failing.
whatever we do. What I'm trying to say is that. That's why I'm saying that let us not generalize where we have excess.
No, but we are doing general because the majority is what is happening.
No, it's not.
How many churches are doing what you are claiming you do?
It's not majority.
How many people?
You have no empirical evidence that the majority is this. What I'm trying to say is that the church is a structure. The church governs people by what the Bible tells us. If you decide to come to the church, then you must live by the principles of what God is teaching us. For instance, one man, one wife.
But for Catholics accept separation, but they don't accept divorce.
If you want to grow in the church, we will teach you chastity. So if you want to be a part of it, we teach you to be pure, live a holy life, lead a decent life before you get into marriage.
My parents cannot teach me to live a pure life.
Whether your parents know how to do, there are people who smoke and teach their children to smoke. There are people who sleep with their wives and their children with parents. It depends on what the parents know.
Children,
you see,
a godly life.
Let's just not assume that because the person is grown,
I'm hoping that we'll be able to extend this conversation next week. Unfortunately, our time is up. We have to be going, but I'm hoping that next week we'll be able to extend this conversation. Rev.
But I'm sorry into me can't I was trained by my parents.
Your parents were good.
Listen,
but it doesn't matter. Everybody's parents is good.
Not only my mother and father.
There were other people in the family.
My grandfather.
It depends on the context you find yourself. There's somebody who finds himself in a remote situation.
It doesn't matter. But you cannot say that all the family members are.
So don't assume.
You see, let's allow the family to have a place.
We allow the family. Me myself, I allow the family so much. For instance, me, if you are doing wedding, me, I don't allow this refreshment.
What I
said you present yourself, no excesses. Present yourself.
The problem is that you are doing it. How many others are doing like the way you are doing? That's the problem.
We should not say that because others are not doing it, that the right people are not there.
We'll have our tune next week, but many thanks to the Reverend Daniel Annan for joining us this morning as a counselor, and Mamia Joa Shira and Mamra. I know.
You know, but when it comes to the church and the way they are messing up people's marriages, we need to let them know where they stand.
Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate you.
They have not. They have not.
We have not.
People are living in the church.
Please stay with us.
We build bridges. They are living with pain.